name's Felicia Rose, and this is the Scars and Stillness podcast. Thank you for coming back for episode 10. As always, I would like to do a trigger warning. Everything that we talk about involves trauma and everything to do with trauma healing. So triggers happen. So if you feel a trigger going on inside you, just make sure that you're kind to yourself and that you are your first priority. With that being said, as always, I have my notes here for our episode. And if I'm glancing over, I'm looking at my notes and I'm trying to stay on topic and keep doing all my pinpoints to make sure I'm talking about everything it is that I want to talk about. If you're listening on Spotify and you hear me pause for a brief period of time, that's the same thing. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on my notes. I would like to mention that today's episode is going to be pretty short compared to the rest of our episodes. It's just kind of like an in-between episode that I've had a couple people reach out to me on my other socials about this topic, and so I wanted to touch base on it. So if you would like more of it and you feel like the video is not long enough, please feel free to message me and we can talk directly about it. As mentioned numerous times, I am not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a doctor. I'm just a woman who has experienced my own trauma and has been through my own share of abuse and addiction and grief and all the things. And I created Scars and Stillness as a place for us to go where we have a safe place to talk about it and feel like we're not alone and we can share our struggles and share what we've been through to help other people. And this can be our healthy healing community. And that's kind of what we do and where we're at. As always, if you would like to know more of what I'm doing with my life or have more questions about my books, which people have reached out to me about, which I appreciate. Thank you very much. Feel free to follow me on my other socials. I have it up here. I know it's kind of difficult to see, but I also have links in my bios for all of my other socials. That's where I post the majority of my stuff for my books and day-to-day life and my family and everything like that. So please feel free if that's something that you're interested in, and like and subscribe would be great. I'd appreciate it. So today's episode 10, is When Healing Breaks You Open. So I've had people reach out to me and kind of ask like, okay, well, we've talked about self-talk and self-identity and now we're free from our abuse or our addiction and some time's gone by. It's been a good amount of time. Why do we still feel heavy? Or, and this is my best way that I myself can express this. So my first pinpoint is the first thing that I wrote on my thing is healing does not always soothe. It can crack you open. That's why I decided to title this episode When Healing Breaks You Open, because we've mentioned this numerous times now, but I have said that shame and guilt are just these lingering icky little boogers that just hang out with us when we've reached sobriety or freedom. And unfortunately, I feel like with time, the shame and guilt part go away, but the weight of past mistakes and the weight of the things that we have done, I don't think always go away. A lot of us forever kind of live with that like weight in the pit of our stomach of, man, I wish I didn't do this, or the little weights that keep you up in the middle of the night and you just kind of wish that you could go back and change things, but you can't, So that's, I think, just unfortunately a part of it. And I think people who, just in general, we're humans, man. We're not meant to be perfect in any way. We're not meant to be so hard on ourselves, but we are. And unfortunately, we make mistakes and we can't take them away. We can't change them, but we change. So we're not forever tied to the things that we've done. We're not forever tied to even old versions of ourselves because we're forever changing. And again, I'm faith-based. I will never not talk about my faith. I will always talk about that. For me, having a higher power, and having God and making him a priority in my life, that allows me to take the weight that I have and put it in his hands. And it leaves me with a peace. And I feel like it leaves me with the ability to actually heal instead of placing everything on myself and being like, well, this is just who I am. I got to live with it. To an extent, I feel like that's true, but I also feel like it doesn't just have to be like that. Like we can have freedom from our pain. We don't have to be broken forever. We don't have to be just weighted down by our past mistakes. We can have freedom. We can breathe. And again, if you're not faith-based, that's fine. Just whatever works for you is what works for you. I'm not downing on anyone's way to do anything. Um, there are many other things that you can do where you can remove something from yourself and you can release it away from you to the universe or whatever it is that you need to do, just so that way you're not feeling like the weight of everything, the weight of all the mistakes, the weight of the what ifs, everything that you've ever done doesn't have to fully be on your shoulders and weighing you down, because everyone has done things that they wish that they didn't. Everyone has made mistakes. We're not perfect humans. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as perfect. Perfect is a complete and total myth. And so the fact that we're trying to be perfect is insane. Don't try to be perfect. Just try to be better than the version of you yesterday. Try to be better. So that's why I always say, like, people can think and feel whatever they want about me, because the people that or the version of me that they think that they know is completely inaccurate. I'm not remotely the same woman that I was in any season. Definitely not the same woman I was in my 20s or when I was a teenager or even 5 months ago. So it's kind of the same thing. Um, my next thing I wrote on here was learning to open up in love. Um, I don't have the best advice for this yet because uh, so for episode 10, a lot of this stuff I'm currently dealing with, like, as we speak. Um, I've been really transparent about, like, that we go to therapy. It's something that we do every week. It's really important to us. Um, and I'm still learning this. I'm still learning that it's good to open up. It's good to communicate with your partner and to, trust that person and tell them how you're feeling, and that they're with you to have the empathy and to support you in the ways that need to be supported. And that's kind of what we're doing right now in our life, is that, we're in therapy and we're working through it, and obviously we're grown now and we're happy, but obviously there's been a lot of stuff and a lot of history that we're still trying to heal from. And so that's what we're doing. We're doing a lot of forgiveness work, a lot of healing work in our journey, um, to just heal those younger versions of ourselves, which is really important. But I did write a book tie-in. A lot of people have been asking me about my books, which I very much appreciate, as mentioned. So I do have book tie-ins. They're direct quotes from one of the 4 books that I've written in the book series. So, learning to open up with love, my book tie-in is Forgiveness Does Not Erase the Scars. If you want me, if you really want to be with me, I need you to be patient. I'm not asking for perfection. I'm asking for presence, for consistency, for grace when I still doubt my own worth. That's a direct quote. That one's from Ashes, or The Aftermath. Sorry, that one's from book 3, The Aftermath. Um, and it's so true. I can read it again if you would like. Forgiveness does not erase the scars. If you want me, if you really want to be with me, I need you to be patient. I'm not asking for perfection. I'm asking for presence, for consistency, for grace when I still doubt my own worth. That's so huge. And I think that's all of us. None of us are perfect, as mentioned. We've all done something. We're all insecure. We've all been broken. None of us are perfect. So, like, you're never going to go into a relationship, especially grown people. We're never going to go into a relationship with somebody and everyone just be totally perfect without trust issues and everybody's fine. It doesn't work like that. Life's rough. People make mistakes. People hurt people, especially hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. Healed people heal people. And that's a fact. I don't care what anybody says. Like, when you are hurt, you will hurt other people. When you are healing, you will heal the other people around you. It's a fact. It's a fact. My next one is Peace and Scars Together. So I wrote, "Even in calm and safety, scars ache. Healing is daily work." This is a lifelong thing, and I'm not kidding you. So we're gonna have moments where, a month from now, 2 months from now, 6 months from now, we could go through 100 different phases. You know what I mean? Like, we can have prolonged moments where we are just happy and life is good and we love our life and our family and our careers are booming, and man, that those bad things that happened in our past, they get real small and you start to really forget about those things. And then one little thing will just surface in your life and it'll be an explosion and a trigger and a reminder of all the things. You know what I mean? And then it's kind of step one again. You gotta work through it, gotta work through it together. If you're in a relationship and you guys are trying to move forward through your scars, don't block each other out, keep moving forward together. And it's serious. It's a legit daily thing. Um, I think that daily rituals or um like schedules are so important for people, not even just people in recovery, or, freedom from domestic violence, just in general. I think that schedules are so important. Like having like daily things that you do to kind of keep you on track with things that make you feel better are super important. For an example, like me, I like to, I wake up early in the morning, get my kid ready for school, my other kid ready for her schooling. She's homeschooled. Um, and so, like, I obviously will wake my one kiddo up, get that kiddo ready for school. We'll take that kiddo to school. I'll prep coffee. My one kid, she has time in the morning before she has to, start her schooling. And so that she'll kind of do her daily things that she does in the morning to wake up. I'll prep coffee. The very first thing that I want to do before I do anything with my day is pray and read my Bible. I feel like that's immediately putting my faith first, putting my relationship with God first, giving him all my daily worries and pressures and fears, just giving it completely to him. And I feel like I'm putting on the armor of God. I'm protecting myself throughout the day, and whatever else may come my way, it's easier for me to just kind of pick it up and remove it away from me. It's one of my favorite things to do. And then obviously I'm able to kind of focus on every other million different things that I have going on in my day. Um, you have something. You know what I mean? You have a structure and a schedule. And a lot of us, like, other things are also very important, not just that, but like me, I'm really big into health and fitness. It's really important for me to eat right and work out and feel good and, you know. And so obviously I like to tie that in as much as I can too, is making sure I'm eating correctly every day and working out at least once a day, and things like that. So just having kind of like a structure together or like with yourself, but then finding things to do together if you're wanting to strengthen or whatever it is that we're doing. Um, so for Peace and Scars Together, I did do a book tie-in for that as well. It's her scars weren't signs of weakness; they were proof that she had survived. Acceptance, that was the real work and the bravest thing that she could have ever done. So yeah, I feel like that speaks kind of volumes. So acceptance, just realizing that you get to a point that like, this is it. This is my life. Yes, I've done things. I've made those mistakes. I am broken still. I still have scars. And I do feel like sometimes, like the title, my healing has completely broken wide open and I'm right back at the beginning. And that's fine. And that's normal. And there's nothing at all wrong with that. Um, so my fifth thing is the fear of being too much. This one is pretty hard. This one's pretty hard because I think more often than not, almost every person who goes into a relationship who's already broken and insecure and has trust issues, which is probably almost every single one of us at this point, um, will have feelings of being unworthy or you know, not enough or that we have baggage or our trust issues are too great. or tempted to retreat into solitude. That's a huge one for me where I get triggered and I feel like the only good thing that like the best thing for me is to retreat and be alone. And honestly, like from working on it through therapy and stuff, like you realize that like that's devastation. That's sad. Like the feeling of needing to retreat and be completely isolated and alone, um, for the fear of being too much, it's so sad that trauma has created that thought in our brains that, like it's kind of like what we had discussed last week where we were talking about, like, the abuser's voice versus our own voice, and the feeling of, like, "I am too much. I am too broken. Nobody could love me anymore. The only thing that I can do for myself at this point is to be alone." And it's sad, and I feel like we have to break those thought patterns and tell ourselves no. I mean, I feel like through survival, I mean, obviously our abusers have done a lot of bad to us, but we've taught ourselves bad things too. At this point in my life, like I could say easily that I am my worst enemy. I am my worst enemy. I am my biggest critic. And oftentimes, if not all the time, I know that what I see is not what the world sees. And I know that I'm 115,000 times more hard on myself than any other person could ever possibly be hard on me. So I know that it is absolutely possible for us to create our own negative, you know what I mean? Like our negative um, narrative on our own lives. And for me, sometimes I have to literally be like, that's enough. Whatever. Let it go. Be quiet. Like I said last week, I have these positive affirmations on my lock screen to kind of help retrain my brain to be positive and not say these negative things about myself. Almost like I feel like if I say these negative things about myself first, then, people can't do it also. Um, it's just another sad thing to think about, but just retraining your brain and realizing that like I'm not perfect, but neither is any other person on the planet. None of us are perfect. Everyone's messed up. Everyone's made a mistake. Everyone has done something so bad that they wish that they never did it or that it shamed them, embarrassed them, or whatever. We have all done it. And if anyone says that they haven't, they're a liar. So, whatever. Um yeah, and then I had wrote a book tie-in for the fear of being too much is, but the truth is, sometimes I still feel like I'm too much. Too much to love, too much to carry, too much to stay. And then I put, healing is messy, it breaks you open, but that breaking is transformation. Like I said, like we're never the same. The person that we're shaming that made that mistake, we're not even that person anymore. You know what I mean? Like, so why should we forever be just like down on ourselves about the brokenness inside of us when we're not there anymore? Yes, we have lingering feelings of it. That's okay. Trauma changes you. It leaves an imprint on you. But that doesn't mean that our sole identity is our trauma or our sole identity are our mistakes. Like we are allowed to live and be alive without always condemning ourselves for the things that we have done. So my biggest thing today, I mean, and as mentioned, like this video is very short compared to what we normally do, but I feel like sometimes they don't always need to be long. They really don't. And I think that when I feel like we've reached a good place, that means we've reached a good place. And it was just really important for me to bring this up, especially since someone reached out to me about it. And um, you're not alone. Feeling like feeling like it's been so many years and I'm still having, issues and I'm still feeling broken and it hurts still and I don't know why. Even when I'm happy, why is it still hurting? It's completely normal. We're humans. Humans were not designed to be hurt. We were created to be loved and to give love. We weren't created to be mistreated and abused and hurt. So, having holes and scars, well, that's pretty normal when we're betrayed and we're hurt and you know what I mean? When bad stuff has happened to us, our bodies remember. So, I mean, we have to be really kind and patient with ourselves because it's not our fault. It's not your fault that you have trauma, it's not your fault that you have scars, and it's not your fault that you have trust issues. So, condemning and blaming and being mean to yourself is not gonna do anything except for harm you more. Um, and also for those who have, like, for those of us who have kids, especially, daughters. Well, I don't wanna say that because I know that even sons with fathers, but, for me, with my daughters, like, you need to really be careful what you say because you have little kids looking up to you, like, my kids, all of them, even my son, they all look up to me, and so it's really important to speak life over yourself, even, like, like in last week's episode where sometimes even if you don't believe it, our tongues have the power to speak life or death, so we're speaking life over ourselves, even if it's something that we aren't believing yet. Like, I am enough, and my scars aren't me, and I am worthy of good things. I'm worthy of love. And some days it feels true, and then other days it doesn't. But still, we need to speak life over ourselves and life over our kids. And I know that when I have moments where I'm insecure or if I feel like I'm not enough, I really wanna be careful with that anyway because I don't want my daughters or even my son to grow up thinking that, they have to look a certain way to be loved or you know what I mean? They have to weigh a certain amount to be enough, and I that is so far from the truth, it's crazy, and I wish that I wasn't that way with certain things. I really do, I wish that I was healed, but we all wish we were healed. That's the whole point of this episode, is that we wish that we didn't have the inconvenience of this hurt and this pain anymore, and sometimes even if we've been healed or even if this happened to us a long time ago, we still feel like it's fresh and it just happened. That's just kind of a part of it, and that's another thing that we have to go through it, and I think podcasts like this and episodes like this are so important because it shows all of us that there are more than one of us out here in the world. Probably tons of us who are watching this and realize, like, "I'm going through this right now," or, "I just went through this 6 months ago," or, "I totally understand what she's talking about," and you feel that connection, that unity, because you realize that you're not alone. That's the entire point. That's the whole reason why I made the brand in the first place is that so that we could connect and unify and realize that in this cold world, there are people who get it, who get you, and who aren't judging you, but we see you and we know what you've been through, or we can relate to a piece of the pain that you've had, and we can all stand together strong. Instead of standing in judgment like everyone does, we can be united in peace and united in healing. So, I mean, that's all I really have for you guys today. I thank you for just being with me throughout the process of what I'm working out in my brain. A lot of this stuff too, like it kind of just comes to me as another thing. Like I have pinpoints and things that I want to talk about, but a lot of it just kind of happens. And then, I we kind of get what we get together with me. But yeah, it was really important for me to touch base on this anyway because none of us are too much. None of us are too broken or, we're not too much. We're not hard to love. We are enough. We all have been through it. We've all been through pain and we're all completely and totally worthy of good things and love no matter what we've been through. And finally, I did write um well, we actually kind of already went over this, but I guess I'll read it anyway. I just had put Um, healing is not about being perfect. It's about being honest and present and alive through the aftermath. We're honest with ourselves, we're honest with our partner or our friends or our family. And, you know, some days are really good and some days are really not good. And both of those days are completely okay. I just wanted to thank you guys again for being present and for tuning in again with me for episode 10. I really hope to see you guys for next week and for episode 11. Again, if you guys want to talk more or if you have things you want to talk to me about, feel free to reach out to me. You can do it in the comments. You could private message me. You can follow me on my other socials. However you want, I'm totally open to whatever. I really appreciate the love and support that you have all given to me. It means a lot. It truly does. And I just thank you guys very much for it. And I hope you guys have a really great rest of your week. And just remember that you're never too much. You're never not worth saving. And I see you. Take care, guys.